Hey everybody, welcome to Canary Cry News Talk. This is the live stream pre-stream. This is the show before the show. It's only about a minute long, but glad you're here. We're on YouTube. What do we got? We got Loverbug91. What's going on? Santa Wears Brown on Twitch. It's almost time to go to work there, Santa Wears Brown. Well, just quick heads up, I just sent out the Canary Cry text message alert system. And who is that for? It's for you. It's for you, dear listener. Now, if you're here now, you probably get the notifications. But perhaps you're not watching this live. Perhaps you missed the show because the big tech companies didn't send you a notification. Isn't that fun? Well, if you want to avoid that little mix-up, you can join the text message alert system by texting the word canary to 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226. I want to personally apologize for Gonz's behavior the other night on December 16th for sending a text message at 3 in the morning. This was a mistake, and he has been roundly thrashed. He's been whipped in the streets. Shame. But thank you for everybody who was cool about that. But we promise not to send you text messages at 3 in the morning. However, we got people all around the world who are signed up for that, and time zones are hard. So if you do happen to get a text message in the middle of the night, just know it's because of time zones, and we're very sorry. But text the word canary to 877-740-3226 to get on the list. Remember, you have to do canary. You can't say hi. You can't do sign me up. By the way, there's lots of people who enjoyed getting a text from Gonz at 3 in the morning. Look at that. One of you was driving at 3 in the morning. I hope your trip was safe and okay. How do I know that? Well, I got a little text back from them saying, hey, I'm driving. I'm not gonna see this. Anywho, let's get the show started, folks. One last reminder, the Canary Cry calendar. It is out. It is out right now for the month of December. And the only ways to receive it are by joining the Canary Cry Babysitters Club at canarycrybabysittersclub.com or executive producing the show for this month. That's right, 2 options. If you want to sign up, support us on a regular basis, go to canarycrybabysittersclub.com. Very important goal. And just know that your all your support is going towards babysitters. But if signing up for like an ongoing thing is not in the cards for you, you can go ahead and executive produce the show once, and then you can get the calendar. We will be sending out emails eventually about that. Don't worry, you're all going on a list for people to receive it. Now, if the executive producer does not want to receive their calendar, they will put it up as available on the Canary Cry Pass It Forward calendar program. That's right. If somebody executive produced and already have a calendar or just wants to pass the calendar on, they will let us know. And there's a button in the email. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, go to canarycry.party. You can sign up for the newsletter there. We just send an email before every episode with the show notes and the art and a little note from me and fun stuff. On that email from today, you'll see a button. You press that button and you can sign up to get on the Pass It Forward program. Supplies will be extremely limited and it's first come, first serve. But there you go. That's an option if supporting the show is not a possibility for you. Okay, let's get this show started, folks. 3, 2, 1, go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is December 18th, 2023. We are live to tape on episode 699. And today, East-West Space Opera. signing on from Off the Grid. Razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil. And Gonz is somewhere.
I'm here. You cut out, though, live, so yeah, I missed you.
It's been a little cutty-outy. Cutty-outy recently. There's a bit of a storm, so hopefully we can make it through this.
Yeah. Well, my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California, to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena, very apropos for being in California. Maybe I am just deluded. I'm a deluded Californian. We're in World War Chi, Basil. World War, not 3, Chi, World War Chi.
G, okay.
Not G, not G. Chi, like Chi energy, you know, like QI.
Oh,
CHI,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know it's good if you have to explain it like that.
Right. Well, yeah, the Skype connection is really helping out today with all of our intricate language.
I'm seeing some interesting things here. I'm seeing in the chat, X people are showing up in the chat. It says Nicholas joined, Jonathan joined.
Whoa.
Things are happening. What does this mean?
I don't know, but you know they're doing all the early Mark of the Beast infrastructure over there on X, so it would make sense that everything connects with everything. I'm not sure. I mean, there's you can watch it live from the Facelikethesun
but you're not
thing.
doing like a Spaces or something.
No, but I think it shows up in the I don't know, feed somewhere live on X as a thing that's live. So yeah, if you're here from X, hey, what's up? How's it going?
Welcome, X people. And if you have a Twitter account, if you have an X account, and you follow Gonz or I, go retweet that live stream. Just go click it. It costs you nothing, and it helps us out a lot. Really gets those algos going. So go right now, Twitter people. Go repost, bookmark, like. Let's get this out there. Okay. Well, I think it's time. Oh, man.
Disclaimer?
We might need to restart our connection, huh? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, let's go with the disclaimer for now.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. Yep, that's right. And let me give you a rundown, Gonz.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Well, starting out, Gonz will be taking us down the rabbit hole with a magnum opus regarding China and some fast planes or something, and then rounding it all out with some additional details regarding the mastermind behind secret Chinese biolab in California. It's going to be very exciting. Then the Flippy update. Flippy's dancing way better than I am, and for much, much longer. What does this mean for the occult psychological operation worming into our brains to make us accept robots, not just as members of society, but as people? We'll get into that. A quick occult breakdown on the Taylor Swift psyop. Very interesting, coming from Wired. Again, we're seeing this talk of psyop, talk of sort of occult power, talk of these types of things becoming more mainstream. And again, maybe we should stop calling the quote-unquote mainstream, because they're getting less popular and also weirder at the same time to try to make up for it. And then pedestrians. Alert pedestrians, you're dying at an incredible rate, and perhaps it's all because of the Cybertruck. And then at the end of the show, we got a world record human cyborg. Can you guess how many implants he has? But first, Gonz, our lead story.
Yeah, it's a she, but we'll get there.
Well, that's very assumptive of you.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Space Force.
Space Force.
A spaceship.
They make their sound, which is kind of like
a spaceship
Space Force.
Welcome to Chinese news.
It comes from China. 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 It's not racist at all, no.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
Honestly, we just play jingles, and I think we convey message. You know,
What a
play
great,
jingle.
yeah, that was a great jingle extravaganza right there. Those are some classics. I
Yeah.
don't think we've heard in a little bit.
Yeah, strung together. I don't know. I don't know if we can add much to it. There was a show called Space Force on Netflix between 2020 and 2022. I've talked about this show before. It had Steve
Yes.
Carell. It had John Malkovich, or all these famous people. And it only lasted a couple seasons. It was like a Space Force satire, military satire kind of show. And I've played some clips before of, they have these scenes where the Chinese satellite comes in, deconstructs the American satellite and takes off and stuff like that. I have this 23-second clip of the Chinese Space HQ calling in to the American Space Force, and this is their confrontation. And just to set up the conversation here.
We are the first to live on the moon.
Well, I'm not sure it matters so much who was first, but it was a great achievement for humanity, nevertheless.
We are the first.
Did news of something called the Apollo missions reach you there in China?
Maybe that happened, maybe not. And we've also heard of the green screen.
So, interesting how China can play on the skepticism of the entire space thing to wage their geopolitical war against us. So just a fun little setup there and a reminder of the show.
Sort of another aspect of the fifth generation war going on.
It is. And I think this show really was a form of predictive programming going on with this whole China versus U.S. space territory battle type of thing. But it leads us to the Ars Technica article here from December 14th. The headline here, Space Force Chief, timing of Chinese spaceplane launch, no coincidence. And here's what it says. China has launched its top secret military spaceplane for a third time, days after the U.S. military's winged spacecraft was grounded for several weeks due to problems with its SpaceX rocket. Observers believe China's spaceplane looks much like the U.S. military's X37B. Do you remember the X37B?
Oh, yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah. I have a video that I it's in the show notes from the archive of the Facelikethesun channel from October of 2016. Welcome to Asgardia, the first space nation seeks to join the UN. And I talked about the X37B in that video and just the weirdness of it and how mainstream, this is when they started to mention it as like, oh, conspiracy. And it's not much different now. But it is interesting how more and more has to be discussed about it because China is out there doing their, mirrored version of it here. So the X37B, a reusable craft that Pentagon officials are similarly tight-lipped about, but there's a distinction in the U.S. officials will publicly discuss, at least in broad terms, the purpose of the X37B and release images of the spacecraft. The U.S. military has 2 X37Bs in its inventory, each with a cargo bay that could fit a large refrigerator, which I thought was always interesting. Like, refrigerator, why do they need a refrigerator? Do they have biologics in there?
Got to keep your drinks cold in space, man.
They resemble small space shuttles with dimensions about 1/4 those of NASA's retired shuttle orbiters. So it's a pretty small thing. It's for the fairies and gnomes to go do the U.S. government's bidding in space.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is included in the article, but one interesting thing about the X-37B, it's Boeing, by the way, was that it's reusable and robotic. Sort of like
it was autonomous.
It can do unmanned autonomous missions.
Yeah. The 7th
space drone.
The 7th X-37B flight was supposed to launch this week from Florida, but officials called off the launch to resolve technical issues with its Falcon Heavy rocket. Oh, maybe it was Chinese saboteurs within all the stuff that really that caused it. Then on Thursday, China sent its own space plane aloft on a long March 2F rocket from the Jiuquan launch base in northwestern China. The Long March 2F is typically used to launch Chinese astronaut crews into orbit, but has been modified to accommodate China's unpiloted robotic space plane inside its payload fairing. And it goes into some things here. They have to be very vague about what we do. It's just interesting how we're at this point where, the American media, mainstream media, Ars Technica being, more so mainstream, they have to talk about the X37B in some form and be like, yeah, hey, we have it, it's secret, but, at least we talk about it. There's some pictures, but, China, they don't say anything about it. They don't have pictures and it's like, okay, but you're not telling us anything either. So what's really going on,
It's not that secret. It has a Wikipedia page.
I know, but they're not telling us what the payloads are.
Right.
And the way they talk about it, let's just go through some of it here. So they say it's no surprise the Chinese are extremely interested in our space plane, and we're extremely interested in theirs, said General Chance Saltzman, the U.S. Space Force's senior officer serving as the military chief of space operations. Quote, the ability to put something into orbit, do some things, and bring it home and take a look at the results is powerful. Do some things, Basil.
Do some things.
That is so broad. That could be anything. That could be, watch animals interact or something.
Do some things, Gons. Just do some things. It's. I love the strategic sort of ambiguity that we participate in so much here in the U.S. There's been lots of speculation. In 2012, way back when we first started podcasting, they had this thing flying around, and there was suspicion that it was being used to spy on China's space station up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a very contentious sort of project.
Yeah. Okay, so they talk about the reusable technology stuff, and it says here, in all likelihood, the space plane is actually carrying out a military mission, perhaps testing new space technology for use in various military applications like surveillance, propulsion, or communication. Just surveillance, propulsion, and communication, the pretty important things. And then towards the end here, continuing with X37B, Saltzman said the military wants to, quote, expand the envelope, end quote, of the X37B's performance on the upcoming flight. And the primary goal of that is testing technologies, he said. Again,
expand the envelope.
Expand the envelope.
It's
test
like
the technology.
It's like a bad translation or something.
He said, quote, there's some experiments being run. The beauty of it is that you can put something in the space environment and then bring it home and look at it. That's the beauty of a space plane concept.
So
okay. The one reason there are plans for additional X-37B missions beyond the next one, according to Saltzman. One reason might be because China has its own space plane at a time of what U.S. military officials often call, quote, great power competition. Power will come up a lot this episode. Between the two nations. When the military frames it that way, lawmakers are often ready to approve spending. So I think that's part of it too, is framing all this as, hey, next war. We got to start getting that funding going, money printer.
Well, I mean,
that's
like, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say about 70% of everything we hear about secret military programs are just to encourage more funding. Funding. We don't even know really if this thing exists. Like half of the promotional material about this plane is CGI, and
there's like one picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's really an interesting aspect of fifth generation warfare where, the battle is actually fought in the minds of civilians. It's hilarious because you played the Space Force clip earlier, and they make a little joke about the space landing, the moon landing.
Yeah.
And the moon landing, of course, lots of people think that it was not a hoax, but was a wag the dog type of scenario, that it was faked and filmed by Stanley Kubrick and all these kinds of things. And then you look at this allegedly secret program, and it's like it's possible that the U.S. and China just has an office of graphic designers, and they're kind of just going back and forth, creating fake stories to try to, more than anything, get into the minds of the American people. Why? For funding. Now, China, they don't need the public's permission to fund anything. And in the US, they don't really need permission either. But, you need to influence those who are going to be voting on it, our representatives. And so it's almost like we could be living in a world where the US and its primary adversary in the East, China, sort of working together specifically for economic reasons. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that it's sort of come out that, high-level DC officials who have been working for 50 years or more have a very friendly economic relationship with China. And it's almost like their entire career is not based on serving the country, but it is about serving themselves and siphoning as much money as possible, squeezing it dry from the American people with the help of their friends in China. That's just a hypothetical, folks. I would never make any accusations here on YouTube, where we've been repeatedly suspended and lost lots of channels. But that is one thing that we always, as the mainstream media, is dipping their toes in the very idea that psyops exist. That should almost be our first instinct every single time.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they would the staging is different now too, whereas before it's more about defending the country, or what's in the best interest of the country, and it's still that, but it's in the context of the people running our intelligence, the apparatus, and all that kind of stuff, which we've seen is so corrupt, and more people realize that now. But it's almost like, okay, yeah, all right, we've messed up, we've done some bad things. There's some bad people in our intelligence apparatus, but China's worse, right? China's intelligence is worse, see? And it's like this weird, like, turning the good guy into a hero type of situation.
Yeah,
there.
that's the fun. That's the warfare.
That's the fun, yeah.
It was funny, in the show Space Force.
Yeah.
Even that, I believe, was just a psyop for the exact same reason, for funding.
Yeah.
Because you watch the whole show and they are constantly worried about funding. They're constantly battling budget restrictions.
Yep.
And it's kind of a show about how if we don't fund Space Force to the maximum possibility, that we're going to look like idiots on the world stage.
It's perception management, yeah.
Steve Carell playing basically the Michael Scott figure from The Office, but in Space Force. And while he means well and he has good ideas, he's hampered by his limited resources. Only if he had unlimited resources from the government, and the government believed in him and the program, that he could, finally succeed and show everybody that the Space Force is not a joke. I mean, that's the entire show. Talk about predictive programming, and we're watching it happen live right now.
Yeah, yeah. And again, a big theme is China versus US. It is the unspoken but obvious theme of the entire show as well. So that's why when I start seeing this stuff in mainstream being reported, it's like, okay, well, they got the script. Now they're just starting to lay the actual road, Okay, so part of the conflict within China in the context of space
Hold
war.
on.
Yeah.
Sorry. This has to be mentioned.
Okay.
On Rumble, talking about the X37B, says, ain't that Elon baby name? Yeah. That's Elon's baby name.
Is it?
No, but it's close.
It's not, but it's close, yeah.
His baby was named after an airplane, a stealth airplane.
Yeah. It wasn't the X37B.
Machina, I believe it is.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's Elon DNA as part of the technology testing that they're doing or something up there, especially if they're using Elon's products, and that was part of the issue. Okay, so this is continuing on the whole conflict with China here.
Chinese news!
We normally don't bring things from Epoch Times, but I thought this was interesting enough, and then there's a video clip to go with it. So, again, this hits a little bit more where I am in California, but I think it's an overall important topic to touch on here in the headline here. Investigation leads to additional details regarding the mastermind behind secret Chinese biolab in California. And just as a reminder, I believe Epoch Times is funded by, I forget the exact, it is a counter Chinese Communist Party outlet or funding of some sort. I forget the exact one. Can you look that up on the Harvard list, Basil?
What was it?
Epoch Times or Epoch?
No, it's the Moonies.
The Moonies, that's right. Okay.
The Moonies own it and run it and started it and everything, which is very anti-communist China, but the Moonies, of course, being a very strange sort of group of people.
Yeah. They got their own weird religious type of thing going on. Okay.
Yeah, well, they're a doomsday cult, according to, I don't know, their critics.
Yeah, well, which makes Epoch Times one of the biggest, quote unquote, if you want to call it alt outlets out there. If you even categorize them as such. An Epoch Times
hold on.
investigation.
Sorry to interrupt. Searching for Moonies.
Yeah.
It brings up a company called Moon Eyes USA. I have no idea what it is. It looks like old cars. But it says, listen to this, when you just search it on DuckDuckGo, Moon Eyes is a Moon Eyes moon equipment company, official online store. So not those Moonies, but different Moonies.
All right. The Epoch Times investigation has revealed further details on Jai Jesse Zhu, the person behind the black market biolab discovered in California, as well as his connections with the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. The secret biolab operated in a warehouse in Reedley, California, about 25 miles southeast of Fresno. It was discovered on December 19th, 2022. We are coming up on 1 year since the discovery of the labs there, by Jesslyn Harper, a code enforcement officer with the City of Reedley Fire Department. And it goes into the details here about, what happened, and there was some stuff in there, the misbranded medical devices and all kinds of stuff going on. I won't get into all the details. But there is a spot that I want to start reading this article because it is interesting. Possible Ebola in freezer. In May 2023, several agencies inspected the lab, the CDC, FDA, County Public Health, and California Department of Public Health. They looked at all the items in the refrigerators and freezers that were labeled and that they could determine what they were. However, there were many other items that were not labeled or were labeled with a code that the city officials had no key to. The CDC created a report for the 20 items that were labeled. All these items were sprayed down, disinfected, and put in special waste containers to be incinerated. In July, a city worker found a freezer that was labeled Ebola. Quote, it was a white piece of paper that was folded over where you couldn't read it unless you specifically unfolded it. And that paper read Ebola. And it was handwritten, Miss Harper with the City of Reedley told the Epoch Times. Does that sound like that doesn't sound, what are you talking about? A piece of paper that was folded over that had the word Ebola written on it? So
yeah, so it must be real.
So it must be Ebola. Okay. Nothing inside the freezer was labeled. This gave Miss Harper some sleepless nights. The CDC would not investigate something unless it had a specific label on it. Quote, unless an item is actually labeled Ebola, it doesn't fall under the CDC purview for their select agents, said Miss Harper. Their bag of potential Ebola virus were shoved in the freezer in a disorderly fashion. They were all in silver sealable bags. The city never found out what was actually in the bags as the CDC never examined them. Nevertheless, the samples were destroyed. Previously, the CDC ended up... So Miss Harper, she was like an employee or something there, and she wanted to contact the CDC, and so this is the part where she's talking about that. Previously, the CDC ended up hanging up on Miss Harper on a different inquiry. In March 2023, during an inspection warrant after the inspectors left, Miss Harper was left alone in the building. Oh, this is a different... Okay, I'm sorry. My mistake. It was a different situation where she got hung up on by the CDC, but same lady. While Miss Zaiba and Miss Harper were not aware of any other possible charges against Mr. Zhu, they feel that the Energy and Commerce Congressional Committee should get involved since the Select Committee of the CCP does not have authority over privately funded labs, according to Miss Zaiba. And the saga goes on. The saga goes on, and Mr. Zhu was being represented by Tony Capozzi, well-known defense attorney in the Fresno area, and he applied for asylum, and they kind of go after him, and because he kind of doxed himself in the process of suing the state and stuff, so it was kind of not a great move. But so that's like the drama of the lab thing, and seeing how much infiltration China has had, and we've talked about this a lot, Basil, the soft or cold war with China that we've been in for probably decades at this point.
Many years now, at least. I mean, we started talking about the Cold War at the beginning of COVID, and I think it's been going even before that.
Oh, for sure before that. And a lot of our American politics has been sold out to a lot of that, because a lot of what, I mean, it's been multiple presidencies and stuff. It's not just one or the other. But I do want to mention as part of this report, they have a video clip from Steve Milloy of Junk Science, and he's talking about green energy, green technology, and the origins of that being CCP. It's an interesting take because he has a very specific example to support his claim.
China is using climate to subvert the United States. China has gotten the United States and Western Europe and really all the developed countries hooked on green technology, to a great extent. Solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicles all depend on China. And, I think their strategy is to get the Western world dependent on China for technology. You can take any, technology you want, wind, solar, electric vehicles. They all depend on rare earth minerals, which we basically no longer mine in the West because it's very dirty. Rare earths, it's not that they're rare, it's just that they're present in soil at very low concentration, so you have to strip mine to do this. Well, you can't strip mine in any Western country anymore, but you can strip mine in China. They have no environmental regulations. So China has volunteered to do this. China also processes the vast majority of rare earths into usable forms, like 85% of rare earths. And all these rare earths go into wind technology, solar technology, EVs, as well as our cell phones and computers. So I mean, it's just, the whole world really depends on China for this. In the case of EVs in particular, China is the sole producer of the refined graphite that goes into every EV battery. So if China right now was to stop exporting refined graphite, there would be no EV batteries made.
All right, he goes on there, but Basil, we talk about the Cybertruck later. It's interesting how if what he's saying is true, then truly the entire business of Elon's electric vehicle stuff is dependent on China, and in material wise, unless he's got plans to get it somewhere else.
Yeah, of course. This is why he has, a questionable loving relationship with China.
Yeah. And the takeover out here in California is palpable in a way that I think, I don't know if more people are aware of it or what. I'm hearing things anecdotally, and this is from somebody that I know who's lived in Orange County, California for a very long time. And it's no surprise if you live in that area or know of that area that we've seen a huge influx of Chinese immigration, a lot of wealthy Chinese people coming in and taking over, buying houses. And you look at the real estate, go to Zillow or something. If anybody has got Zillow, that, the real estate app, and just draw a circle around Orange County and look at the prices of the houses. And you can see that there's I would call it a money laundering operation, but nobody with, any kind of normal mind agrees with me on that. But yeah, it's out of control, the real estate, and the people that are buying up those homes. There's a lot of, there's Saudi people in certain areas, but the Chinese are coming in droves. Now, this person that I know has lived in Orange County and lived in a newly developed area for a few decades. And their observation of certain homes in the neighborhood is that these Chinese couples would buy the home. They would come they would enter the home, move in, the whole thing. The wife would get pregnant. They would have the child. So the child has dual citizenship, and then they move out. And the next family comes, and she says she's watched this for 20 years. And the cycle is, they've had 30 couples go through a house in, 20 something years. And stuff like that, where it's like, is that really going on as a program? Or as this person who lives there has some kind of sympathetic view suggested, that these are Chinese, wealthy Chinese people who are ensuring their survival from a potential, CCP lockdown, and they are trying to move into a nation like the U.S. that is more open to not just accepting the cash, but if you're going to lean on the more constitutional freedom type of thing, then if you're coming in to spend money to build, then you're allowed to do that officially, right? So it's kind of that messy gray area that China seems to have exploited to literally
it's not even
buy
that
up.
messy or gray. I mean, that's the thing. You can take over the U.S. without a single military operation. You just buy it.
Just buy it, and then you have a whole population of a generation coming in who have dual citizenship.
Right.
And and what's sickening is Newsom's sort of open call to all that. He's making a lot of money from it, so he's not complaining. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how this changes the U.S. and the whole race war thing, because in America, it's been very much staged as a black versus white. That's the racial divide. But everywhere else in the world, it's not like that. I mean, there's some parts in the world like that, but
yeah,
it's mostly the same people, different ideologies clashing. And when it comes to putting in a third race in there, like Asian or Chinese or whatever, into the mix of the white black thing, it's going to become interesting to see the whole deconstruction of the United States. So good times, Basil.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, folks. China is buying California.
Not just buying, they're like breeding.
Breaking news.
They're breeding California. They have these.
You can't say that, Gons.
What? I can't?
You can't say breeding.
Why not?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, especially in the context that like Chinese people, the government of China, very specifically, is dedicated to creating a Chinese ethno-state. Like they're sort of very racist on their own. Like
of course.
They have policies around creating a Han Chinese ethno-state, and anybody who's not Han Chinese is second class citizen. So as much as there's back and forth on the racism thing in the U.S. And the liberals are so happy, well, at least the Democrats are so happy to partner up with China at the same time sort of participating in a really dystopian Chinese ethno-state where diversity is punished unless it's exploitable.
I'm not suggesting that I know the heart of any individual Chinese family or people coming into this country and having an opportunity to start a family and everything else. But I will say that, you talk about the wealthy Chinese coming here. China has exit controls. They have capital controls. They're not just like mindlessly allowing these people to leak out to different countries. No, there are probably programs in place. In fact, there have been. We've talked about the Confucius Institute and who knows how many more things that we don't know about. So, just keep your eyes out, folks. Stay sober-minded. There's a lot going on there. So, okay. Sorry, Basil. Did I bring you down a little too much at the top of the show here?
No, it's just, Chinese in California. There you go. They're there. And they just keep coming. It's
a great way to start your Monday.
Gary.
There we go.
What day is it? Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Yep, it's Monday, folks. Thanks for being here. Man, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas, and things are getting crazier and crazier. Just a heads up, I will be doing some traveling during this time, but it is my intention to make it to all the shows that we are going to be doing. The shows on Christmas week, obviously we won't have one on Monday, which is Christmas Day. Christmas week, we are still figuring out what the scheduling for that looks like, but we appreciate your patience and thanks for hanging tight with us. But today, on Monday, we are here making it happen.
Yep.
Gonz, you got anything to tell the people?
Well, first off, I think you have the case of the Mondays. I can feel it, but hopefully we can shake you out of it with the Flippy update. But also, I just want to thank Sir Ike. He sent me and us, and I'm going to send it to you, Basil, these mugs. Got these Canary Cry News Talk mugs, and it's tailored to me. I got the prayer hands, and it says Gons on it. So this will be my sippy mug. And, of course, I just opened yours, Basil. It's the same thing. It's got the Canary Cry News Talk logo. On the other side, it's got Basil and the googly eyes. So these are one of one, I think. There will never be another of the Gons and Basil.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes he sends us stuff as like testers for the supply drop. So there's a chance if those get approved that they'd be in the supply drop. I don't know. I'll need to talk to him about
those would be derivatives. These are the original.
The one of ones.
These are the non-fungible ones. Yeah.
Get those mugs on the blockchain,
Get those
baby.
Non-fungible mugs, folks. All right.
Yeah. Well, we're cruising along. I did watch Leave the World Behind, and there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
I will say this. Leave the World Behind, I mean, it basically was crafted for this exact moment.
Yeah, Obama.
And there was, I think it's interesting that Leave the World Behind and Civil War became big news items at the same time.
Same weekend, yep.
Because, what?
I said same weekend. They both trended on the same weekend as well as the news report about the cyber pandemic, basically.
Yes. And, it's interesting because I didn't hear this anywhere, but this is not a spoiler alert. It should come as no surprise. But Leave the World Behind was not just about a cyber pandemic. It was about a civil war. There are two American Civil War movies popping up at the same time, which was, I did not know that from reading everybody's thoughts about it and reading the articles about it. I don't think anybody mentioned that it's also about Civil War.
That kind of, well, you're right that it was less so, but I think once the Civil War film actually started trending in that context, more people were like, first this, then that, and they were kind of bringing more of the.
They're connected, obviously, but nobody was saying that they're both Civil War movies. But it was I'm going to say this: it was a very good movie.
Obama, man, Obama knows how to entertain.
Yeah, I mean, he was a consultant for sure. I think that's just Netflix having to deliver on their whatever $200 million contract with Obama that nobody cares about, but who knows? But what people were freaking out about, the entire story about Leave the World Behind was, it's race baiting. They say don't trust white people. And folks, let me tell you, that is such an insignificant moment of this film that you almost miss it. It's really wild. Now, if you're super, super triggered by the existence of race, this movie is probably not for you. But I don't think they overdid it on anything, honestly. But, we could all have different feelings about that. But I just want to say that. And it got me thinking. I am almost certain I'd be willing to put money on it that the race baiting, don't trust white people news stories from, here to Timbuktu, all across the net, tons of Twitter people talking about it, all the alt media culture warriors making a big stink about it. I am almost positive that sort of news item was planted for marketing of the movie.
Controlled op to get it viral.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. Because I don't think anybody, nobody gets excited about a movie coming out on Netflix.
Well,
they don't even get excited if you say that Obama was doing it. They have proven that attaching Obama's name to a project does not do anything for the project.
No, they have to do their own race baiting.
Netflix projects have totally stunk.
Yeah.
But I think put out the inflammatory psyop that it's all about race baiting and all about not trusting white people. And then the whole internet explodes and then everybody goes and watches the movie. This was an excellently crafted marketing scheme. But I will say this. It's I think it's a good movie. For those who are like film heads, the cinematography is a little much, but definitely new. I mean, you got to respect the cinematographer for this one, but have your barf bags around. There's lots
It's a
of
Blair
spinning.
Witch project of cyber pandemic films or end of the world
Not
films.
quite. It was very, very detailed, very intentional, but lots of angles that like make you feel like you're on a roller coaster.
It sounds like Obama pulled off a Trump move, sort of the counterculture, capturing the counterculture thing, making the other side angry. But it does make sense. And I hate talking about it like this, Basil, but I do wonder if your algos, I mean, obviously your algos are probably different than my algos when it comes to what we see on social media. But the sort of white race hate thing, I didn't see a lot of that. My timeline was full of cyber pandemic.
I heard it on all the culture warrior guys' podcasts, all the news outlets. They
would make
do it
sense.
in the the right-wing internet conspiracy theorists are freaking out about the racism. I will say this. It is based on a book. Yeah. I talked to somebody who had read the book. It's based on a book. So the story's been out for a while. From what I hear, the book entirely happens in a house. There's nothing outside of the house. They basically pulled that off with a couple of exceptions in the movie. So yeah, it's more of a thinker than it is sort of an action-y, exciting type of movie.
Sure.
Psychological
thriller.
Yeah, don't go into it thinking it's going to be like a war fun movie like Civil War, action-packed.
No, it's propaganda.
More of a psychological thing.
I think propaganda is never super entertaining. I guess the message gets buried if it's too entertaining.
Lots of little messages, though. Lots of little winks to the Canary Cry crowd. And with that, Gons, I think we'll keep moving through this. I want to remind everybody that for the month of December, it's time to get your Canary Cry calendar. It's an excellent, epic tradition here. Gons and I have nothing to do with it. It's entirely put together by producers of the show. Dame Ebony Blaze and her team put together the Canary Cry 2024 calendar this year, and it is absolutely incredible, the coolest one so far. And, of course, it's jam-packed with excellent art from some of the most renowned Canary Cry artists, as well as pretty much every month is just chock full of important dates, whether it's secret societies or government programs or intelligence operations or Canary Cry-related dates. These are all, there's something for everybody every single month, and it just keeps filling up even more. It's become a beloved Canary Cry tradition, and just think you can wake up in the morning, look at your calendar, and know that there are Canarians all around the world doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, and you can celebrate Canary Cry holidays at the same time. It's incredible. But there's only two ways to get this calendar. A, you can be signed up or sign up for the Canary Cry Babysitters Club and or Supply Drop. Go to canarycrybabysittersclub.com.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
Yep, sign up there, support the show. It's value for value. You're signing up for the Babysitters Club because you want to know that your value is going directly to paying for a babysitter for Gonz's kids during the show. But as a free gift, we will send you the calendar. It's too late to receive the entire supply drop for this month because the deadline has passed. But if you sign up for the Babysitters Club this month, you will get the calendar next quarter in the beginning of next year. And we had a couple Babysitters Club people sign up. I want to thank them very much.
All right, let's do
Ready?
it. Mm-hmm.
We got Babysitters Club most important calendar person, producer Brenton B.
Brenton B, thank you.
That's right. Most important calendar person, babysitter Tracy S.
Tracy S, thank you.
Most important babysitter calendar person, Victor M.
Victor M. What's up, Victor?
Yes,
thank you.
Another very important, most important person, Babysitters Club calendar guy, Stefan.
Stefan, is that Stefan S? Different Stefan.
It just says Stefan.
Okay, Stefan.
Then we got most important person in the world, the Babysitters Club supply drop producer calendar person, Tiffany S.
Tiffany S, thank you.
Yeah, one last one here. Of course, it's the most important person, calendar person, babysitter person, supporting the show, value for value. Victor A.
Victor A. Oh, another Victor. Two Victors?
Uh-huh. Yeah, 2 different Victors.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Lots of victory. Yeah.
What's up, Victors? Yeah, maybe it's a message.
It's a message.
That
VV.
2024.
VV, it's a W. It's a win.
2024 is victory for Canary Cry. So there you go. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot. Now, the other way to receive the calendar, if you don't want to sign up, if an ongoing producership thing is not your thing, we totally get it. For the month of December, you can executive produce the show, and every executive producer will have the opportunity to receive the Canary Cry calendar. They can choose to receive it or not receive it, or they can make it available to the Pass It Forward program. If you go into your email box and you look at the Canary Cry newsletter that went out today, go ahead and press the button and sign up to get your name on the list to receive any sort of leftover Pass It Forward Canary Cry calendars that are not claimed or are purposely given by the executive producers. I'm going to go to your email, check your email. Sometimes it's 20% of the time it's in your inbox, 80% of the time it's in your spam folder. Search Canary Cry and get that email. Click on the button. Now, I am also putting a direct link to the form in the chat now, so click on that. There's already some people signed up, so it's a first come, first serve type of thing. But we have some executive producers coming in, getting their calendar. You ready to thank them, guys?
Executive producers.
That's right. You're all producers here with your time, your talent, or your treasure, but the executive producers support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode, and we're going to thank them now. Starting with executive producer Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Brian Protocol.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Brian Protocol. He actually has a audio message for us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, this is LX Protocol V2. I want to say thanks for all you're doing. Wish you guys, all Canarians, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I tried to push the button for that Pass It On program, but hey, for any Canarian who wants a calendar or me producing at the executive level, if you can give them one, that'd be awesome. I'd love to bless somebody else. And I just been praying for you guys. I hope everybody else is praying for the ministry, and hope you guys keep it going. And also, I don't know if you guys can do this, but if you could take all of my current payments and turn them on to the non-PayPal methods, that'd be awesome. But if not, then just you can let me know and email me or something. We can kind of work it out. All right, thanks, and God bless. Bye-bye.
I'm putting you on the list, Sir Alex Protocol. Send us an email would be a great way to start that conversation. I'll put it on my list, but my list is long, so please send us an email. Well, there you go, folks. Not only is he the heroic Canary Cry executive producer on a 41 executive producer streak.
41. Is there a specific thing for that?
No, it's just a harp or something. I don't know. There you go. So Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Brian Protocol, executive producing every show. I got nervous hearing his voice. I was starstruck by the most incredible executive producer that has ever existed. And there you go. So he executive produces every episode of this show every month, which I believe is 12 episodes this month. So there will be at least 12 calendars available for the list of Pass It Forward people. So go sign up, get on the list, folks. Some of you sent emails, and yes, 2 emails ago, I messed up. The button didn't work. So for those of you who contacted me directly, I will put you on the list. But thank you very much, executive producer Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Brian Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
Before you move on, real quick, I believe it is lining up for Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Brian Protocol to get his 42 executive streak, which there is a specific special jingle on episode 700. Is that the pace?
On episode 700. Pretty incredible.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
As long as we don't mess something up.
As long as we don't mess up. Yeah, it won't be on him. It'll be on us. By the way, sounded remarkably human for a protocol. Pretty good.
That AI is getting very good.
It's getting way too good. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have executive producer Bush Protector.
Hey, Bush Protector. Thank you.
Yeah, he's back. Been a while. Thank you for being here. Executive producer Bush Protector comes in with a nice round number, so we won't disclose it. Sends a little note here. Says, hey, guys, sorry it's been a while. Just saw your interview with Adam Curry. And when you guys spoke about V for V, it reminded me, more you give, more you'll receive. The more good you can do. God bless brothers in Christ. Amen. Bush Protector.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That's right. And you've been put on the list to get an email about the calendar. Now, nobody is going to remember this because I'm sticking it right here. But I just want everybody to know, just keep in mind, when I say you will receive an email, it's not going to happen the day I say it. It's probably not going to happen the week I say it. Okay? I
thought you were a time traveler. People will be listening in the future.
Only person who is handling these emails, and I'm trying my best. But we've had some people get mad, like, you said there would be an email. I'm sorry. It's not that you didn't receive it. It just hasn't gone out yet. Give me a break, folks. Thank you. And thank you, Bush Protector.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Bush Protector.
Next up, we got executive producer Kira OC getting that calendar.
Kira OC, thank you.
Kira has a note, says, I really need that calendar. CCNT, Basil and Gons, bless your spirit, soul, and body in Jesus' name.
Aww.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
She needs the calendar where you're going to get it, Kira.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Kira.
Next up, we got executive producer Arnold W. getting the calendar.
Arnold W. Thank you very much.
No note. He knows what's happening here. He's getting the calendar. Thank you,
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Arnold.
Next up, we got executive producer Felicia D. coming in, getting the calendar.
Woo, thank you very much.
Woo.
Let me see here.
You're the best, Felicia D.
Okay. Here we go. What was that?
What's going on?
Sorry. I have buttons. When I hold them down and I let go, they go off. And sometimes I press the wrong button, but I don't let them go off. It takes a moment for me to make it all happen. We're good. Felicia D. Yes?
What in the world just happened, folks? I think Gons had a stroke.
No, I'm good.
Anywho, pray for him. We're moving on because we have one more executive producer. Executive producer, the Sentinel.
Thank you, the Sentinel.
The Sentinel comes in, getting that calendar. You know what's up, the Sentinel. Did we have a note from the Sentinel?
Yes, we have an audio note from the Sentinel.
What's up, Basil and Gons and Canary Cry family? It's the Sentinel. This message goes alongside the executive producership.
Got it.
I was just thinking about when Basil said that I think it was 2 episodes ago, that they've literally done like a show every 2 days for years on end now. I know I've been listening since episode like 350, right? So that's crazy. And I just wanted to challenge 9 other producers to give $100, and not just for the Canary Cry calendar, which is epic, but just as a show of thanks this Christmas season, to basically create or produce $1,000 that we would otherwise not normally produce. So if you want the calendar and you want to just show your thanks, I'm asking 9 other producers to step up and match my 100 to just show Basil and Gons our thanks that we have for all their hard work. So yeah, blessings on you guys, and think outside the cage.
Wow, that's very sweet. That's very sweet. Thank you very much, the Sentinel. Throwing down the gauntlet. Will the Canarium pick it up and match the challenge of the Sentinel? I don't know what I'm saying, but you get it. And it's just, as a side note, you'll get a calendar if you do it this month.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So should I put the next 10 executive producers will be the Sentinel challenge?
Sure. Fulfilling the Sentinel challenge?
Yeah. Answering the call.
Answering the call, yeah.
The
Sounds
call
good.
of the Sentinel.
The call of the Sentinel. There you go. Yeah.
The
we
call
workshop this.
of the Sentinel. All right. For those who go over and executive produce the show for $100 or more this month, you'll get the calendar. But more than anything, you'll be answering the call of the Sentinel.
Yes, very good. Awesome. Thank you to the Sentinel.
Where'd you find this?
Okay, and that's it. That is it for that. Guns, the new P.O. box.
Yes.
That is the Oceanside.
Yes, I am in the process of putting it on the website live as
actually, I was about to do that too. So thank you. I have it pulled up here. I'm going to stick it into the chat just for anybody who needs it right now.
Oh, great.
But canarycry.support will have the new snail mail address down at the bottom. And for those who are listening, it's Gonzo Shimura, P.O. Box. Oh, the chat took it away. There it is. P.O. Box 5681, Oceanside, California, 92052. That's Gonzo Shimura, P.O. Box 5681, Oceanside, California, 92052. Very important. You do not put Basil. You do not put Canary Cry. You do not put anything. It must be Gonza's name, or else they will turn it away. So there you go. It's in the chat for anybody who wants it. I said it out loud, and it'll be on canarycry.support for everybody.
It is updated on canarycry.support. Just scroll down.
Huzzah.
And you'll see snail mail, and then you'll see the address.
Okay.
There you go.
So my goodness, this is making a huge difference for us folks. Those who are executive producing, joining the Babysitters Club, all that stuff. This is really making a huge difference on our December, first of all.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. Our families owe a lot to all the producers. It's really incredible. Also, the babysitters and the babies owe a lot to the Babysitters Club members. We really appreciate it. And not only that, those who sign up for the Babysitters Club or the supply drop, more than anything, that is giving us an idea of what we have to work with next year. Next year promises to be an insane year in the world, which means an insane year for the show. And we've got big things planned. We're talking about doing live events and conferences. We're talking about doing, it's the election year. We're going to have all sorts. It's going to be wild. And it's really the producers who are keeping the show going with their time, their talent, or their treasure. But I'd encourage everybody to produce the show in whatever way makes sense for you. It could be your time, could be your talent, could be your treasure. If you want to get involved with your favorite podcast in the craziest year probably in human history and be there with us on the front lines, you can, like I said, get involved with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Send us the art. Anybody out there want to commit to illustrating or writing songs about some of the craziest events, or coming in with your time and helping us out with administrative stuff or art stuff or developing stuff or whatever? We need as much help as we can get, or simply signing up to support the show. That gives us an invaluable look into what we can do starting in Q1 of next year. So just know it's not just, you're being charitable. That is true, because Lord knows we're a charity case around here, but you are strengthening what we have going on here. Not just the show, not just Basil and Gons, but the entire community, worldwide community of Canarians has you to thank. And it's incredible what people can do simply gathering around the idea that we can, with our own brains, resist the psyops, resist the temptation to fall into, whatever traps are being laid, both by the enemy and by the mainstream news media, because that's what they are. It's all traps. You are a product to them. And we've stuck by the idea of not turning our listeners into products by advertising to them, et cetera, et cetera. And those who answer the call and say, thank you I don't want to be a product. That's sort of the powerful paradigm shift of the value for value model, is you are actively telling the world, the enemy, God, you're telling everybody, I am not a product, and let me prove it to you. So thank you all very much. You can go learn more at canarycry.support. That includes not only supporting the show financially, but also there's a form at the bottom of that page where you can sign up and say like, hey, get me involved. Here are my skills. Here's my interests. I'm ready to help out. Down at the bottom of that, fill that out. Gons, I just want to thank a couple more producers because it's very short. Ready?
Okay. Yep. Let's do it.
We have Sir Ike coming in, Master and Commander of the Supply Drop, Babysitters Club. Sir Ike, 3333.
Hey, Sir Ike, thank you very much.
Illuminatus!
He says, from one Illuminati shill to another, have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Illuminati shill, Sir Ike. And, of course, we got producer Malik. Malik comes in.
Malik, thank you very much.
There he is. Thank you very much. Nice round number. And that's it. That's it for the mid-level producers there. Thank you very much to you two. And, of course, we have our under 777 producers. And the list goes like this. We got Angela H.
Angela H. Nice.
Doctor Who Done That, 38 episodes in a row.
Doctor Who Done That, thank you very much.
Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, 311.
Thank you, Sir Morv.
Veronica D, 341.
Thank you, Veronica D.
The one, the only, Dame Gale, Canary Whisper, and Lady of X's and O's. She's on the Pass It Forward list. She's getting a calendar, 335.
Thank you, Dame Gale, Canary Whisper, and Lady of X's and O's. Oh, sorry.
Gons, we might need to practice this segment so we can zoom through it a little bit more. We'll do that off air. We'll spend hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, we'll do it during the break. Yeah.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 365.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
380 in a row. I think 380.
Ooh-wee. These streaks, man.
Okay. That concludes the streaks. I think it's time for Flippy. That was longer than I wanted it to be.
Okay. It's okay. Flippy is here.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Time for the Flippy update, Flokes. Flokes? Listen up, Flokes. I hope that's not a bad word somewhere. It's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from dancemagazine.com.
Yeah.
Dance Magazine, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's time. The robots, they're wiggling into every part of culture, and now the robots are in Dance Magazine. The headline is choreographer and engineer, lady of many talents, Katie Kwan, shares the ideas behind her 8-hour duet with an industrial robot arm. You heard that, folks. 8-hour duet with an industrial robot arm. Keep in mind, these industrial robot arms, about once a month, are destroying the physical bodies of workers around the world. At least one story a month of a robotic arm smooshing or smearing a human across the ground or, the whatever, conveyor belt, something like that. But no, she's here to prove that not only are the robots safe, they're artistic, but they can dance with humans in a safe way. Dr. Katie Kwan received a PhD in mechanical engineering from Stanford, bing, bing, in choreo robotics.
Oh yeah, Stanford,
folks,
baby.
We've been talking about fake jobs. Choreo robotics, not a real job, but she has a PhD in it.
You can have a degree in choreo robotics. I mean, an honorary.
Choreo robotics, PhD. Choreo robotics.
The study of dancerly practice and robotic motion planning.
Yes, thank you. The study of dancerly practice. Dancerly practice is cool. Come on, talent people. Do some dancerly practice with robots. Send it in. And robotic motion planning. Kwan has performed with robots for many years at venues such as the Smithsonian and Brown University, but her first public performance since graduation promises its own slice of choreo-robotic virtuosity. She collaborated with influential roboticist and artist Ken Goldberg to create Breathless, Katie and the Robot. Is not a good name for these robots who are killing people left and right in warehouses, in factories. These robots certainly left that guy in Korea breathless after he got a little too close. Breathless, Katie and the Robot. An 8-hour durational performance between Kwan and a robot arm, which will unfold on December 16th, yesterday, as part of the National Sawdust Plus series in Brooklyn, New York. The dance explores themes of labor and autonomy through the medium of a robot she helped code and her own body. Ooh. Now here's the thing, folks. There's a lot of navel gazing going on in this article. Lots of things to say. Not a lot of things said, but not a lot of things to say, I guess. I did like this. We discovered surprising synergy between rhythmic robot motions and my own movement in response. Ken and I refined the concept, and just before graduating from Stanford, I suggested to Ken that I could perform this as a durational work where I dance with the robot for 8 hours. Obviously, that 8 hours is, well, it says here, the durational nature of this piece fomented ideas about labor and the future of work. That's right, an 8-hour workday of this woman dancing with a robot. That's kind of insulting to all the guys who have been smeared by these industrial robotic arms, you know? It's like, I don't know what you did wrong, but look, I danced with this robot for 8 hours.
True. It's true.
Stop complaining, factory workers, by getting trapped in a cage and smushed by a robotic arm. Just dance with it. The durational, ultimately, our goal is to highlight the poetry of labor in motion and how humans may tire over time, but are capable of much more nuance and expression than a robot. I would love for people to examine their own movement capabilities, how rich and varied they are. Don't care. The contrast between the human and the robot highlights just how remarkable our bodies are. I want to witness the inherent beauty of a moving body and how labor, as a storied, perennial manifestation of that movement, can be challenging, fraught, and glorious. What a great sentence from a choreo-robotics PhD and dance enthusiast, this Silicon Valley Stanford student trying to communicate what it's like being a laborer in a factory. This woman has never set foot in a factory in her life. Nobody in her family. Well, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the generations.
Start going off. Yeah. No, there's a part in here that mentions her rise to her artistry type thing. So she talks about a couple experiences, and then she says, I was admitted to Stanford and transitioned from using robots exclusively in my artistic work to a fully research context. I also spent 3 years of grad school as the inaugural artist in residence at Everyday Robots, which was Google X Alphabet's robotics initiative at the time. So this is
an artsy-fartsy person.
Yes.
This is an artsy-fartsy person. I don't know. I don't assume to know everybody's work history, but she does not seem like the person who has the insight of a regular laborer on a regular basis. Who knows? I'm making assumptions, but the optics aren't great. And she's dancing with this robot for 8 hours to show how labor, as a storied perennial manifestation of our movement, can be challenging, fraught, and glorious.
It's very Hunger Games, you know? It's like the district putting on a play about how the poor workers and all the other districts or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
I mean, it's like this entire class. It's the class of Stanford people. It's the class of tech people. It's the class of artists. It's seriously a convergence. It's a Venn diagram of 3 of the most insufferable ideologies or groups of people when it comes to them talking about the working man. And as we know, the robotic arms, they are putting laborers at risk, not just taking jobs. We know that.
Physical labor.
About that forever. But also literal bodily
labor.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can take you
I
out.
find this as the world's premier robot critic. I believe that this is an incredibly insulting piece of work. Challenging? Yes, maybe she's trying to be challenging. Maybe she's thinking deeply. I give her all that. But in the spirit of social justice and identity politics, I say she is not allowed to do this dance with this robot, make any messages about the working man. I find it insulting, but I mean, she's in the middle of the Venn diagram of Stanford artsy fartsy people and Silicon Valley people. That is who she is. She is the manifestation of the insufferability of the elite class making comments on labor. And again, as the robots are being brought into the advent of these robotic arms into society, into our hearts. Remember, the dance part of this is psyop is an overused word now, but to use the robots in the arts has a very specific mission, and that mission is to put the robots in your heart, not in your mind. Yeah. And it follows the grand tradition of the psyop of the robotic arm specifically. Remember, the robotic arm, sign of strength, sign of the not just strength, but the impotence of human labor making its way. And now she wants us to sort of worship it. It was quite the event, folks. And I hope there's a video somewhere.
I'm sure we'll see things. Yeah.
Again, I should be going to these events, whether with a press pass or sneak in to wherever this was in Brooklyn. I'm missing all my chances. This is historical.
You need your Bohemian Grove Alex Jones moment. You catch it all on tape, and you look at what they're doing. They sacrificed a baby or something.
Can the Illuminati just give me like a day pass to some of these things, I think, please?
Yeah, maybe talk to Alex Jones. The one thing that I thought was interesting, at some point in the history of Flippy updates, we must have, and there's something in my brain that says that we did it at some point or mentioned it at some point, but a Red Book prediction that Maria Abramovich will do some kind of art ritual with robot arms.
Yeah, sort of occult robotic ritual.
I feel like if
it's not in there, it was implied.
It was implied. Well, we should probably officially put it down at this point, because this is where this is. It's all leading to that, right. We're already halfway there with this whole thing. So anyway, yeah, there you go. Fun.
Yep, that's the Flippy update for the day, folks.
Just dance with a robot arm for 8 hours and you shall be enlightened, slave. All right, we're going to talk about the overused word, psyop.
Psyops.
And it is overused. Here's a prime example of it. This is coming from Wired.com. And the headline here, Taylor Swift, QAnon, and the political... QAnon. And I'm trying to mess up the algos. And the political weaponization of fandom. Okay, so we got a little Q action going.
Q the miserable, Q the desperate. What must I do to convince you people? You're right, Q.
Conspiracy cult QAnon.
This is a disinformation counterintelligence operation.
Satan-worshipping pedophile elites are running our lives.
I'm sick of it.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, it says here, Taylor Swift remains inescapable. Tales of her reign are legion, as are her fans.
Interesting choice of words.
Interesting choice of words. Next to Beyonce, her power and influence have reached heights so unbridled it's almost unfathomable. Her Eras tour made nearly $1 billion in 2023. Holy cow. And the concert film that the tour has brought in nearly $250 million worldwide. When rumors started swirling in the fall that she was dating Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, they upended American football.
Wow.
Wow. She's so powerful. Still, when Time named her Person of the Year, conspiracy theorists saw only one explanation. They allege Swift is a psyop. Wired.com saying that she is a psyop. The vernacular is so mainstream now that Wired is just all over it. which interestingly, this whole piece itself can be categorized as a psyop. But let me continue. If you lived on the internet long enough, you will have heard this kind of thing before. Back in 2016, when she was largely apolitical in her public life, Swift was a hero of the so-called alt-right, who some believed was actually red-pilling America to further a racist conservative agenda. When she piped up about politics in 2018, some people online somewhat jokingly theorized she'd be replaced by an NPC. The latest twist? Quote, the regime has plans to weaponize her just in time for 2024. The @End Wokeness account posted on X Wednesday. Because that's, that's the bastion of the enemy right there. End Wokeness on X is worthy of being attacked here. Adding that if you didn't find this plausible, quote, you clearly have not been paying attention. End Wokeness has 1.9 million followers. And as of Monday, the post had more than 788,000 views. And he goes into some details here. Towards the bottom here. And as we go through this, just a reminder about some of the stuff we've been talking about with the University of Exeter Master of Arts in Occult and Magic. That whole movement, talking about Jeff Charlotte. Was it last episode or maybe the one before that? Where, he comes on doing a whole Trump speech breakdown from a kind of occultic view or esoteric view of breaking down the stuff that's not obvious and doing that kind of analysis in the mainstream. This is along those same lines. It says here, Swift exists as a unique example of the intersection of celebrity and politics and how it operates globally, says Jonathan Dean, a professor of politics at the University of Leeds. Quote, an important feature of culture and politics over the past 10 years, certainly in the UK and the US, and I think probably more broadly as well, is that there's been a significant convergence in the grammar and style and mode, if you like, of pop culture fandom and political citizenship, he says, referencing the similar ways fandoms and political parties can operate. Yeah, hasn't that been the thing for a while for people paying attention? But I guess now Wired gets it. Quote.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a big part of this is they're talking. We've known forever. I mean, the sort of occult purpose of celebrities or the priest or priestesses of culture is exactly that. They are sort of vessels for whatever ideology it is employed upon them. Like they're blank canvases. That's why you have Beyonce saying that she like goes out of her body and her performing self is actually a different woman. Yeah, it's this sort of esoteric idea of the priestess being inhabited by the spirit or the ideology in a lot of sort of secular explanations case.
Yeah. It says here, Simone Driesen, an assistant professor of media and popular culture at Erasmus University, Rotterdam, agrees, noting that as the message spreading of fandom has merged with that of politics, support can be mobilized readily. As Driesen puts it, quote, fandoms, particularly the practices of what fans do, can be weaponized. They're using all the buzzwords that, your traditional conspiracy theorists would use. What's weird is that to those who believe these claims, Swift has risen to a level where she can be a powerful political pawn, all without her input. Parentheses, Swift's rep did not respond to an email seeking comment on whether or not the singer was part of a psyop. Good job, Wired. Is that what you did? You sent the Swift team an email saying like, hey, is Taylor Swift part of a psyop?
Dear Taylor Swift, is you a psyop?
Is you psyop, Taylor Swift? And then they go on here on Wired. Well, maybe not entirely without her input. Swift herself knows how to plant seeds. Oh, does she? Okay. Her lyrics are written to be decoded by listeners. Her fans have their own theories, like those espoused by gaylords who decode every image and message from Swift through a queer lens, powered by their belief that the singer is trying to signal that she's in some way into women. Parentheses, she could be, but also who cares? Oh, Wired. Okay. Some people believe she showed up at Kelsey's game against the New York Jets just to alter Google search results away from her use of private planes. Very specific. Swift's name draws attention, and that's power. The common thing that I've noticed about all these new wave of esoteric news media breakdown people, they use words like psyop, they use words like, what was the other one they had here from a second ago? Weaponization and things of that nature. But power often comes up the most. Jeff Charlotte talked about aesthetic power. You know, the prayer hands. I don't believe in supernatural things with prayer, but I believe in the power of aesthetics. There's this weird obsession with this whole idea of power, which to me, it resonates with this idea of power as presented by Manly P. Hall, 33 degree Freemason, in his book, The Lost Keys of Freemasonry. This is a very famous passage from that book that people in our field have quoted quite a bit. But the quote is, when the Mason, talking about Freemasons, learned that the key to the warrior block is the proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mystery of his craft. The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands. This is whole notion of being able to harness that power and use it. And that's kind of what they're talking about Taylor Swift doing here, that she has this power, and now it's so much that it can alter politics. She's that big. She's that powerful. And the culture war, commenting on the culture war regarding that whole paradigm. Celebrity has been used by political movements for centuries. Yes. Politicians are celebrities. Yes. Swifties are simultaneously like every fandom before them, but they're also very unique. By remaining largely apolitical for the first half of her career, her acolytes were able to project whatever values they held onto her. When she finally came out in support of women's rights, LGBTQ+ rights, and Joe Biden during the past few years, she alienated some and brought others to the fold. Swift also created a vacuum in which anyone could claim she was an agent for any cause. That's hard to imagine Swifties believing she said Ukrainians, quote, behave like charlatans, end quote. So the odds that a pro-Russia campaign can successfully weaponize her fame are slim. Where she stands on the 2024 U.S. election may be more indecipherable, perhaps. That is the real psyop, concludes Wired. So
the real psyop. Yes, the mainstream media is here to tell you what the real psyop is.
I love it. I love it because it's exactly what we were talking about. They're picking up on the methodologies that we've been using to break down mainstream articles for a few years here, and just changing the filter. Really, it's all it is. It's a deconstruction mechanism. We put Christ as our filter, we put the scriptures as our filter, and we understand things and make sense of things through that. These people are just like, no, just whatever the thing is, whether it's maybe Kabbalistic or some other esoteric means, or just straight up Masonry or Luciferianism or Satanism. Whatever it may be, it's not of Christ. We know that. So it's interesting.
The ironic part about this is that the understanding about psyops, the weaponization of celebrities, the esoteric methods for psychological or spiritual power in mass culture,
social engineering.
It's become so popular online. It's become so ubiquitous, and so many people are waking up to it and dissecting it and seeing the world through that lens. And we're very excited to have played whatever role we played in that, that the mainstream is like, well, I guess we got to speak to them in their own language.
Yeah, we got to do that too. Okay, so everything's a psyop. Well, then how about this, guys? Maybe that's a psyop.
Yeah, nobody trusts us, and they're all onto us, the whole system as a whole, the beast system. I guess we can speak their language now. We can be a little bit more honest about it. But instead of showing the real side, we'll psyop their psyop, and the psyop. I mean, we've really seen the phrase psyop. It's popping up all over the place, not even just on like mainstream podcasts, but the nightly news.
Yeah,
they're talking about psyops.
I know, it's crazy.
And this is a this is a sort of trend that we've seen happen over the past year, especially, where they're like, oh no, okay, we get it now. Nobody likes us. They all caught us lying and cheating over the past few years. They're done with us. We're going to go out of business. So why don't, we talk about psyops? If they like psyops so much, let's talk about psyops, and then we can psyop their psyop and keep the whole thing going.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds about right. Makes sense to me.
Speaking of which, the battle on Elon continues.
Oh boy, Elon Musk. Oh yeah, I forgot you threw that in there.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
Yay.
Just threw it in there, folks. Just threw it in there as if it didn't, as if it wasn't a part of my everyday workday to analyze, deconstruct the very important mainstream, just tossing it in there. This is coming from NBC, which does deserve to be tossed somewhere. The headline is pedestrians already dying at record levels now face Elon Musk's Cybertruck. Ooh, the boss battle for pedestrians. The headline itself is such a masterpiece of manipulation.
I was gonna say, it doesn't even I have not read the article, so I'm just looking at wait a minute. So pedestrians are already dying at record levels. Okay,
the poor
now
pedestrians,
face Elon Musk's Cybertruck.
Left and right, people walking, dying. They can't leave their house. We tried to save them with,
I know what this
lockdowns.
is. I know what this is. This is a psyop to get people like us to support Elon. I won't do it. I won't do it. Go on.
The battle on Elon is so ubiquitous now, but I'm kind of thinking it's not necessarily a battle on Elon. We've talked about this where it's factions. There's factions working at all levels.
Yeah.
But a true chaos wizard like Trump or Elon here, any bad news is actually turned around into success.
Oh, especially mainstream bad news. That
is the superpower of these chaos magicians that are just sort of at the highest levels here. Pedestrians, these poor guys. As vehicles get bigger and heavier, they also get deadlier. The Cybertruck.
Oh my God.
It's big and deadly. It's a trend that has some concerned about Tesla's new Cybertruck. A 6,800-pound electric behemoth with sports car acceleration that experts say will be lethal to pedestrians and occupants of lighter vehicles. The Cybertruck is especially lethal to pedestrians because it's a big car. We need everybody in little cars so pedestrians can survive. It's absolutely unhinged, infantile sort of stone throwing here. Tesla CEO Elon Musk defended the truck in an he posted about the truck. Okay, it doesn't mean he's defending it from your masterful onslaught of truck too big, people too small, people die. Quote, "We are highly confident that Cybertruck will be much safer per mile than other trucks, both for occupants and pedestrians," he wrote. Some in the vehicle safety world disagree. Oh, the vehicle safety world. This is really catering to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
They're bringing in vehicle safety experts to literally say, car big, hurt, ouch. Like, it goes on. Michael Brooks, executive director at the Center for Auto Safety, a nonprofit consumer advocacy organization, said this Cybertruck poses a variety of threats to pedestrians. Not only can it run you over frontwards, it can run you over backwards. And it can, it can kill you all sorts of ways. You could fly up in the air. It'll kind of do an upside down bicycle kick like that cool soccer player and kick you into a trash can. Watch out. Cybertruck. According to Tesla's website, the Cybertruck Cyberbeast model clocks in, it's a bunch, and can accelerate from 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. For comparison, here's where it starts, folks. Let's get the comparison.
Yeah, I want to hear the comparison.
The Ford F-150 2023 starts at slightly more than 4,000 pounds and can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.5 seconds. They are advertising how cool and good the Cybertruck is.
It's heavier and faster.
It'll kill you. It'll kill your family. It'll kill anybody on the street. Stay off the street because the Cybertruck is so big, so cool, so fast, way better than the Ford F-150. Elon is a absolute wizard when it comes to using the mainstream media. This, where every Elon hater, the Elon haters, there's a lot of different reasons to hate Elon, but the most basic lowest common denominator is like people who think he's racist and bought Twitter for racists and whatever.
Right.
And they just like to talk about how junky Teslas are or whatever. It's just the lowest common denominator. You know these people, you see these people, and they're embarrassing to be around. But it is harnessing the illogical, sort of ignorant acceptance of mainstream emotional feelings. Remember, the mainstream media is emotionally manipulating people to like and dislike people, mostly for political, but also for economic reasons. And this headline, a perfectly set trap for anybody who just wants to hate Elon. Oh my gosh, the Cybertruck is going to kill pedestrians. We got to ban this guy. They put him in jail for liking free speech and saving the earth with electric vehicles. And then it just turns into a beautiful advertisement. Cybertruck, bigger, badder, faster, better than any other truck. Watch out. Brooks said the Cybertruck's extreme acceleration capabilities. If they said in a television advertisement, if they wrote Cybertruck's extreme acceleration capabilities combined with its weight, like that would be over the top.
Yeah.
It would be over the top
sensationalized marketing
for how cool the truck is. So you can only use this kind of language in an alleged bash on the truck. But anyways, its extreme acceleration capabilities combined with its weight means that drivers will have less time to react to pedestrians. And collisions with them will be deadlier.
I'm just trying to connect some dots. You know how my brain goes into all sorts of different tangents. But given the story we started with where the the materials to create electric batteries comes from, and given what you're pointing out with sort of the illogical attack on Cybertruck here, and even embedding the video, excuse me, of the Cybertruck, in the article and the whole deal, is this just an elaborate native ad, but it's more advanced so that, you publish this ad, but don't talk glowingly about us, actually hate us. In fact, take this angle on it. It's the same thing Obama did with the whole movies about racism and white supremacy and all that kind of stuff, and that trends, and then that gets everybody to it's like it's tapping into the Streisand effect.
Exactly right. I believe that this came from Elon.
There you go.
Because Elon himself, we have heard him speak. He's said it so many times. It is almost guaranteed that someday. Well, I'll tell you right here. Again, it's this Michael fellow or whatever. Quote, just like Elon says. So he's quoting Elon here. He's using Elon's words to be mean to the Cybertruck. Just like Elon says, if you have an argument with another car, you will win. So long as winning means inflicting life-threatening damage to other humans on the road, Brooks said. What is the alternative that Brooks thinks that we would love so much that if we got in an argument with another car, that we wouldn't hurt the other car, that we could share the medical damage with everybody? This is why people buy trucks. This is why you buy an apocalypse-proof Elon Musk masculine nonsense vehicle, is so you can destroy other cars. And Michael Brooks, auto safety guy, I think either he is totally in on Elon's plan or he is falling right into the trap. I like to think that Elon pulled whatever manipulative strings he needed to sort of goad Michael Brooks into this. But that goading could also just have been a check for $10,000.
Yeah.
It goes into pedestrian deaths, and they're at a 40-year high. Those numbers are expected to rise as vehicles follow an industry trend in which cars, trucks in particular, increase in weight and size. Cybertruck falls in line with the fad, blah, blah, blah. Go buy a Cybertruck. That's what this is saying. Buy a Cybertruck, go faster than anyone else, blast through the Priuses. You're safe. Nothing is your problem. It's apocalypse proof. Go buy the Cybertruck. I actually would really like a Cybertruck, mainly because I am on solar out here. And I think if things go real bad, I think that, gasoline cars are very important. And, the idea of fuel transportable energy is the number one reason humans are where we are right now. But, if I got the solar set up anyways, I might as well just be able to have an eternally fueled up car, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Well, it'll all come in handy eventually. Sure.
It's mostly so I can mount a missile launcher in the back of the Cybertruck.
I mean, it is interesting that Elon is just helping equip everybody for the dystopia. They're like, well, it's gonna happen. So
yeah,
prepare now.
Anyways, just a quick update on the war on Elon.
Yeah.
In Leave the World Behind, this was another funny part. In Leave the World Behind, there's a point where Tesla's autopilots got hacked, and a whole
sales,
or what is it, car dealership basically full of Teslas went on the road and tried to kill everybody.
Maybe that's part of
there's this moment. Yeah, there's this moment where it looks like it's a big scary like anti-Elon thing. People, it was like a war on Elon thing, but there's a moment where the Tesla crashes next to the main lady. The main lady's looking around. She's like, what's going on? Why are all these Teslas crashed here? This is weird. What a weird thing going on. And she looks down at the sales sticker, the sticker on that they put in the window at the dealership. It was a literal advertisement for how affordable the Tesla is, how great its range is, how awesome the car is, and it zoomed in on the autopilot feature on the sales material.
Wow.
And that's when she was like, oh no, these are autopilot. I better get out of here. Again, people are totally missing the point. I've listened to podcast after podcast about the war on Elon. I can't believe they're trying to take him down.
Yeah,
Look at this. They put him in the movie saying his cars are going to kill everybody in a cyber pandemic. It was a literal sales advertisement for how awesome the car is.
Yeah. Well, if if history is any indicator, those people saying that now won't realize what was happening for another like 10 years, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, remember that movie, the Obama movie? Oh yeah, they had us.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
The news deconstructionists, the new generation coming up when we're old and frail and obscurely trying to put out books or something in our old age.
They've been deconstructing for decades.
Yeah, the youngsters who are like, oh, these guys are too old. We need a new, new generation. They'll be like, I found this old movie. Look at this. It predicts everything.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. Let's thank some producers coming in with their time and talent.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message, beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com, go to the green tab on the right side or the bottom, depending on what device you're on. Click on it. It'll open up a little window that allows you to record an audio message of up to 90 seconds through your device. Leave a message for us, leave a message for the world, for the listeners. Make sure to tell us if it's a private message right at the top so we don't accidentally play a private message, we also accept prayers, pre-show prayers. Those are always welcome as well. We have something from Rochelle today.
Hello, Canary Cry. I would say happy Monday, but it could be Wednesday or Friday. So whenever you're listening to this, I want to give props to Norman Parente for his 12 days of Normie Christmas. Oh, P.S. guys, maybe you should check with him and make sure it's okay if I do this. I'm just going to do it. Anyway, on the 12th day of Christmas, my Normie gave to me 12 commies re-educating, 11 boroughs investigating, 10 sorcerers outsourcing, 9 Babylons burning, 8 Podfathers casting, 7 Trudeau's mansplaining, 6 Zuckers forfeiting, 5 Elon's cage fighting, 4 Bitcoins mining, 3 brains a washing, 2 Biden's bumbling, and a Flippy to trim my tree. Merry Christmas. Stay strong for Jesus.
Woo! Feeling in the Christmas spirit.
Thank you very much,
Rochelle.
Appreciate it. That was great. That was exactly what we wanted. I think Norman Prunte would be proud. Okay, we have another message here from Victor.
Hey, Basil, Gons. My name is Victor Acosta. I just signed up for your guys' supply drop program through Patreon. I've been listening to you guys for a little while through Google Podcasts, and I actually used to follow Gons back when he had Facelikethesun YouTube channel. And I just had a few questions since I'm new to Patreon. I'm just curious about how the streaks work. Is there a certain podcast platform that I have to listen to the episodes through to get credit for that? As far as accessing chats, where does that happen? I know you guys have mentioned Rumble. I don't have a Rumble. And with regard to the supply drops themselves, recently here, I think the past week or two, you guys mentioned the Age of Deceit films being included in that calendar and stuff. And I was wondering if I already missed the window for that. But either way, I just appreciate you guys. I love you guys. You guys do everything that I love. You bring them all together into one production. Jesus, Bible prophecy, fringe topics, and retro synth sound and music. I love it. And being in law enforcement and patrolling so many hours a day on the road, you guys and your shows help my day to go by fairly quickly, as well as keeping my mind on things that matter. So I love you guys. Really appreciate all the work you do. Looking forward to contributing to everything that God is doing through you guys. And yeah, God bless.
Thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
Okay, let me see if I can remember the questions. First of all, the streaks, that is for producing individual episodes. So the monthly producers, they get thanked when they sign up, and we thank them in our hearts, and also thank them by sending them the supply drop, stuff like that. To get a producer streak during the treasure section, those are people coming in every episode on either our Stripe or our PayPal and producing individual episodes. So you can come in, however you want, whatever works best for you at canarycry.support. And that is for people, sort of manually coming in, producing each episode individually. That is the streak. As far as chat, yeah, we're kind of all over the place. I mean, pretty much anywhere you want to be. There's Rumble. YouTube is still the most chatty. I don't know how Twitter does it, but we're on D Live, we're on Twitch, we're on Kick, I think, still. Pretty much anywhere you would watch the show live, there is a chat going on there. Yes, and then so the Age of Deceit supply drops, that's been going on for 3 quarters now. There's been 1 film in each supply drop for this year. The third one is just going out for this quarter. You are past the deadline for getting this quarter's supply drop, but you are on the list to get next quarter supply drop. And next quarter supply drop is the one that will have Age of Deceit 4, the brand new film. And we have we're going to be putting out more details about exactly the deal with AOD 4. who's going to have access. Obviously, supply droppers will have the physical version coming to them. But stay tuned at the beginning of January for an explanation of all of that. I think, if you just signed up, you will get the calendar. That will come in your Q1 supply drop. Are there any other questions I'm missing, Gons?
I think you covered all of it there. There's a lot of stuff.
I think so too. But we're glad to have you back, buddy. It sounds like he's an OG, which is very cool. Love getting the OGs finding us again. That's kind of the interesting part. There's been a big group of old school Canary Cry radio listeners that kind of dropped off when we started devoting more to news talk during the pandemic. And a lot of them are finding us again, mainly because we're posting more Canary Cry radio and telling people about it.
Yeah, there's persistence there too. But I appreciated Victor's message. And, he sounded like an officer. His cadence, I could kind of tell. It was like, whoa, okay, it made sense.
He's got that officer articulation.
Yes.
Also, there's the Discord channel. You can join the Discord channel if you just want like constant access to hundreds of Canarians. That Discord's always popping off. So go check that out. You can find a link to that at canarycry.party.
Yep. All right. Let's thank some producers coming in with their talent. I don't think we have any audio productions. Am I mistaken on that? I have not checked since we started the show, so I did.
Well, if you don't have it now, then it's too late anyways.
Okay, well, we got some art.
One art, please.
Gonna start it off with Sir Dove.
One art, please, from Dove.
And where's Dove's artwork here? I thought I had it ready to go. Oh, here it is. Dove has a note. Peace. For today's artwork, I made another thumbnail duo illustration. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins. Right on cue.
This is so apropos. Again, this happens all the time. We do not communicate with the artists before the show. They have no idea what we're doing for the show. We have no idea what they're drawing. But more often than not, it matches perfectly. Today, we've got a duo art that will show up on thumbnails in the future. The background is a picture of a industrial robotic arm factory, looking very much like the exact one that woman danced with. And on the left or on the right, we've got, looks like Foreman Gons. He's got his hard hat on. He's got his earmuffs down around his neck. He's wearing some very official factory guy clothes. In his pocket, he's got the Basil's Best Buddy Basil's emu jerky, teriyaki flavor. Yeah. Little Easter egg there. On his helmet, he's got, of course, like all good hard hat wearers, he's got his favorite stickers up there. He's got the Tango Tango November Charlie sticker. And it looks like a Lakers themed sticker.
It's a Lakers canary.
Do you remember that?
It's a Canaries. Yeah. The Canaries logo with in Lakers style.
That's right. Gons, you're holding some sort of control apparatus, some sort of device there, important for the factory work. And of course, it's branded Miso Robotics.
Yeah.
So we know where your loyalties lie as far as that goes. And then we get to the left side, which is Robo Basil. Yes, full humanoid robot, googly-eyed canary. Very, very sleek. Looks competent. Looks like a great dancer. And this Robo Basil is carrying a box of googly eyes. That's right. We're in a googly eye factory. And of course, you need robots with googly eyes to work at the googly eye factory. Because as we know, I think seriously, by some act of God, my googly eye theme since 2020 has made it into the robot world. I'm thinking certainly we are one of very few shows that gives advertisements to individual robots on a regular basis and talks about the deep things of the robot industry. And in response, they've all started putting googly eyes on their robots. So we see you, and I see you for real, not just through the googly eyes. Thank you very much. This is excellent, Dove. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much, Dove. Appreciate it as always. We also got another duo illustration from Caleb. It's a Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Gimli,
this is
Gons. Yeah.
Talk about old school.
Old school.
This is old school. So back with some of our episodes with Michael Heiser talking about
Christian Middle Earth.
Christian Middle Earth, right? And he's the Gandalf of Christian Middle Earth, and he bestowed upon us the Legolas. That's me, Basil Legolas of Middle Earth, and of course, if I'm Legolas, you gotta be Gimli Gons. So we've got Gimli Gons, Legolas Basil. We are looking straight out of the films, if you ask me.
Yeah. Wherever he grabbed my face shot there, I think the expression is appropriate. So, yep, appreciate it, Caleb. Thank you. Okay, we got a couple microfictions to go through. Here we go.
Microfiction.
Time.
Microfiction.
This first one is from Stefan S. Here we go.
Victor Borgnine, Merchant of Death, calls lone scum, CEO of Biomitech. The Ukrainians are running out of soldiers, plenty of weapons, but nobody pulled triggers. We have a market opportunity for disembodied robot arms to drive tanks and push fire buttons. Very good. Thank you very much, Stefan S. Yeah, I've been keeping my eye out for the Merchant of Death, Victor, because we made the call that the U.S. sort of proxy war in Ukraine, it needs to move to a non-state actor. I think Hamas has fulfilled the role of the non-state actor for our next forever war, but I'm still keeping an eye out for Victor. He's the Merchant of Death that Lord of War was based on. He was released in a prisoner swap for Brittany Griner. Yes, we released the most infamous, deadly arms dealer, illegal arms dealer in the history of humanity for Brittany Griner. And certainly he's had something to do with something going on over in the Ukraine.
Yep. And this microfiction was also based on the Business Insider article from a couple weeks ago. The Pentagon is moving toward letting AI weapons autonomously decide to kill humans. Of course, Indeed. This was also in line with the IDF in Israel was doing with Hamas. So interesting developments with the AI front as we've been tracking for a long time.
Indubitably.
We also have a microfiction. I believe it is part 6 from Jones. If I am not mistaken. Is it Jones? Yeah, Jones. Here we go.
Inside the hub, Subi's ship drifts, brushing past cabinets, paperwork, and office paraphernalia. The remainder of the fuel was relocated to barely one last boost and one last portal. Only the tablet softly illuminates her tear-stained face. She ignores the tremble in her fingers, softly tapping her ring and staring hard at the screen, as if attentiveness would return the query faster. Ding! Very good. Thank you very much, Jones. The loneliness of space.
Yes, thank you very much, Jones. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the producers coming in with your talent. Really does help build the culture behind the community here. And you can go to canarycry.art if you'd like to submit artwork. Go there, canarycry.art.
I dare you.
Hold on. I thought I had a jingle for canarycry.art. Do I not have that now?
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. It's by Little Owen.
There you go. Now you won't forget
Indeed. It. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you have any reports or articles you'd like us to consider for the show, you can go to canarycry.report to upload it there. That's very helpful. Time, talent, or treasure. Get involved, folks. It's a new day. It's a new year. It's a new era for humanity. 2024 promises.
Great.
This to all of us.
Great. So excited. Are you excited to
so excited
become The Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Cyborg? How come it's not triggering? Cyborg, these robots, man. They're supposed to be right on
I don't like
cue.
it when we make fun of them.
Yeah, I know.
Are you ready to become Cyborg?
Okay.
Cyborg.
I have an article here from the New York Post. It is about a month old, but had to do it. Headline: I am a world record human cyborg with 52 implants in my body. 52 implants.
That's like a deck of cards.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. She's got a magnetic personality. Literally. Anastasia Sinn, S-Y-N-N, 48, from I don't know how to say that. Tehachapi, California? Tehachapi, California?
I don't have it
Sounds
in
like
front
an
of me.
Indian reservation. Now holds the Guinness World Record for the woman with the most technological implants in her body. A self-made cyborg and performer, always a performer, had 52 implants, including the largest magnet ever to be implanted inside a person, Guinness says. She also boasts a magnetic implant in the tragus of her ear that emits sound. She can hear inside her head with a copper wire or a Bluetooth receiver, and has a host of other special abilities. Quote, finding someone's lost earring Quote, finding someone's lost earring
backing.
Okay. That's what has also become in very handy throughout the years. She told Guinness of her magnetic powers. And it's got some pictures of her, some magnets sticking to her, different coins and things like that. She can open locks as well as turn on computers because about half her implants are microchips. Sinn, who hails from Toronto, initially liked the idea of being able to program implanted chips with her phone, crediting her daughter for the inspiration.
Kids these days. Quote, my daughter originally asked if she could get a microchip implant to unlock her computer like a gamer girl that she saw online. Oh, no. And
I said, no, I was a good parent. I said, no, you better let me do it first so I can make sure it's safe.
Okay. Good old Gen X here.
Sinn's implants in her left hand give her kind of a sixth sense. It's like a sixth finger, Basil. Sixth sense. I can tell you if your microwave is leaking too much radiation. My hand vibrates, she explained. She can also determine if a power box is getting enough power and feel live wires behind a wall.
All very helpful if she's an electrician.
Yeah. Her implants can even make phone calls. Quote, the one in my left wrist calls my daughter's phone, and the one on my right wrist calls my husband's phone, she noted. She honors her late husband with a microchip over her heart. The chip over my heart, when scanned, will play our wedding, Sinn told Guinness. So
it's a QR code. These are just RFID chips where you scan it with your phone and it takes you to a website of her wedding video.
Yeah, Sinn is the widow of John Edward Sellis, also known as the Freddy Krueger of comedy. Do you know about the Freddy Krueger of comedy?
Never heard of him.
I'm not familiar, but when I kind of looked into it a little bit, he was one of the opening acts for Chris Angel, I believe, in Vegas. That was his big sort of thing.
Big time.
And he passed away in February 2022. He actually passed away on 2/22/2022 or something like that. All the twos lined up. Sinn told the Post on Thursday that she's having the implant of her husband's ashes redone out of silicon without magnets because it was causing issues. Good job. Good on you. Sinn's body modifications are performed by an underground do-it-yourself surgeon. I'm glad the Guinness records are, they're just like, okay, it was done by some underground DIY surgeons, but, they still count. And then there's a part here where it talks about how she wanted to get her teeth replaced, but she wanted to get cyborg dentures, but her dentist couldn't figure out what she wanted. Quote,
you want what now? You want computer chips in your teeth?
Quote, I was left without teeth for 6 months, causing my lower face shape to change and a subsequent slew of problems.
So she got the teeth taken out before they had a plan for the teeth to go in.
Quote, I've given up on my desire to make cyborg dentures. Can't win them all, I guess. She also unsuccessfully attempted to rebuild a computer inside her leg. but she would need a lithium battery, which is deadly and shouldn't be implanted in the body. So they go on and on here, and they sort of, talk about her. She joked that she may be able to invent a new record for the most removal surgeries in one day. So great. She's still human. But
she said if she had to get a surgery that requires an MRI, she would have to get all of the implants taken out before she could get an MRI.
Right, of course. So the parts that I think are worth noting, obviously we've seen sort of the rise of cyborgism for a long time, but it's this repeating thing that's happening of I can feel things in the walls. I have like a sixth sense built in. I connect myself to, there was another, I can't remember, it was a guy or a girl who connected to like an earthquake app or something. And I think it was a woman who said, like, I could feel every earthquake, like it vibrates in my body. That kind of stuff. There's a Gaia, earth religion type of thing going on with it that a lot of people miss. They just say, oh, cyborg. It's like, nah, there's a spiritual new agey underpinning here that's not being, or it's not obvious to people, just looking at stories like this. So, just something to keep in mind as you people analyze the spirituality.
It's sort of the that spirit. I mean, it's transhumanism is what it is, but these are like the cyberpunks. These are people doing it the DIY way. There's a big. I mean, this community is growing very quickly. I forget. I mentioned it on the show. There is a show. I forget what it's called. Gosh darn it. But it was a very obscure show. It came out 2019, and it like predicted a lot of things that has happened in the past few years, but had this theme of transhumanism, and actually had a storyline where like a young girl, 13 or 14 or something, ran off to get an underground eye replacement with a camera from like a weird Russian like do-it-yourself surgeon guy. Obviously that did not work out, but it was very disturbing. And it's it's one thing for older people to have human ideals, but this is where it starts. And this is why I pointed out that this is a Gen Xer, because it starts with the DIY Gen X sort of punk rock, cyberpunk folks, and it's very cool. It's very underground. It's very strange, but little by little, they gain fun little abilities. But there's generations beneath them who are seeing it become normalized. And, it's not a weird thing. It's just, if you grow up and at the age of you become aware of the world, your mom or your mom's friend or your friend's mom or something has all these implants, like more and more people of that generation are. It's not taboo. It's just there. It's not, whoa, this is new and weird. It's, oh, this is just a thing. This is a life you can choose. This is a thing you can choose to do. And of course, it's connected with a lot of the trans stuff going on today, and of course a lot of the influence on young people. I mean, this is a big part of that. And it's always presented like, whoa, Guinness Book of World Records, Ridley's Believe It or Not, look at this oddity. And even all these promotional photos and stuff, they're all very like showy, like she's a showman when she's showing off these things. But it's very specifically, I don't know what it is. It is something about Gen X where they are mostly the ones progressing this cyborgism. I think maybe the coming of age of the early 90s, and then, the influence of the turning of the millennium and the Matrix and that kind of stuff. It has a very special hold on Gen X that I have not seen. And of course, Gen X is the parents of Gen Z. It's not millennials are the parents of Gen Z. It's Gen X. So this is, a very, very steady normalization of this kind of thing.
Millennials, we shall prevail. All right.
This is words that have never been spoken before. Okay, folks. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We hope you tune in again. I want to real quick thank our timestampers from the last episode.
Timestamp.
It's hard work. Timestamp.
Yeah, thank you, Morgan E., for timestamping episode 698. It's very important, goes into so much of our back-end processes, and it's available to you, dear listener, to go through the timestamps, take a look at what's going on. We've got a robust informational back-end.
Yeah, I was going to mention...
up. There's even more.
Sorry to cut you off. I think it's Jade Bouncerson who did 698, so... Yep.
I pulled it up. It said ME. Unless I pulled up the wrong one, I guess.
I'm looking at 698 Artificial Insanity.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I pulled up the wrong one.
Yep, there you go.
Jade Bouncerson. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson.
Thank you. You had a 50%
And remember,
shot.
folks, if you're looking for a way to get involved in 2024, we're always looking for more people to get involved with the timestamps. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank. Clank is back in action, baby. Woo! And I'm so happy about that. Clank is some sort of techno wizard. And other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends' family. Share it with those Gen Xers in your life. They're covered in microchips that you can program with your phone. You know them. You see them. They're walking around. Coins are sticking to their face. They're opening up microwaves when they walk by. They have all these extrasensory powers. My goodness, thank God they have that ability to feel when an earthquake happens over in Argentina. We're very impressed, and we think that this is a good thing for society. That's the truth. Only because we can walk by them and hack them. We must hack the biohackers. Prepare your phone. Get yourself a hacker like Clank, and walk around with your phone and start programming all these cyborgs' chips. Go in for a hug. You know, it's kind of like a little clandestine mission. Put the programming phone in your pocket, give that Gen Xer a hug, program all their chips to play Canary Cry News Talk every time they come in contact with another phone. Make sure that their magnets are all over their face, have Canary Cry merch sticking to them. We can use this. We can make this work. And if you're a Gen X thinking about getting some microchips installed, hey, you're an adult. You can make your own choices. But watch out, because I heard that there is a group of benevolent hackers going around installing Canary Cry News Talk. Oh, gosh. Into your chips, and you're welcome. But other than that, just share it the regular way. Post it on your social media. Tell your friends. It's Christmas. It's the most wonderful time to tell your friends and family about Canary Cry News Talk. Your uncle is there and your mom will be there, and it's time to tell them that Canary Cry News Talk is for them. Do that. We call it rattling cages, but all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gonz, you got any last words?
We'll see you for 700 on the next one, and do what Shield Labs said he's going to do in the chat there. Time to click forward send to everyone in my phone's contact. People I haven't spoken to in decades will be blessed by this episode. So there you go. Do that. That'll be great. Contact people you haven't in decades.
What a good idea.
Yeah. Cell phones decades ago? I guess we did. Anyway.
Be like Shield Labs.
Yeah.
Tell your
friends.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Yeah, tell your friends, tell your family for 700. It'll be a blast.
It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but until then, think outside the cage.
They love killing.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Armageddon's on the way. Toilets! Feed him.
personal choice.
Give me a break.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. It might seem scary, so frightening. Get ready for it. Don't push your buttons. Get in your spaceship. It will be over. Get in already. It will be starting. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion! Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Yeah!
Bye.
I'm out of here. Bye.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary Cry, that's a power.